Now, we are going to start with Ed and Liz. We see you guys are sitting not together today.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
You first.
Oh my God, you first.
All right, I was trying to give Ed a nice dramatic romantic flashback, but I'm sorry, what the hell is this? Are they just messing around, or is she trying to drag him unwillingly into the ocean? I've never seen From Here to Eternity before, but now I feel like I don't have to. She honestly needs to be a little bit more careful with Ed. Look, he's trying to break free. He can barely keep his foot. There he goes. There he goes. This is all I want out of life. I want to find true love so we can go to the beach together and hug in the water while shifting around awkwardly. For a second right here, I honestly thought she was about to pick him up and flip him over her head. Flip Big Ed over her head.
You feel we're in a good place? I mean, not the beach. I mean, I'm freezing, but...
Slowly but surely, yes.
Slowly but surely. Okay, so what you're saying is we should move in together.
I want my home to be our home, and I want to ask you to move in.
That's another fast move. When are you gonna slow it down?
I just know how much you like me and you can't live without me.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think I've ever seen a more romantic guy than Big Ed. So yeah, I'm like the sickest guy ever, and how are you going to be able to live with yourself if you say no to moving in with me? If you say no, this will forever be known as the day that Big Ed got away.
You light up my world. 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 World.
This is Big Ed's world, and we're all just living in it.
Push and make changes. You try to make me make changes so fast. It's not fair. But yes.
World.
Somehow, after only 6 to 8 months of dating, Ed has convinced this woman to move in with him. And do you remember how this started?
Like right there.
Awesome.
You can do that.
Why not?
So long story short, they end up breaking up, but then they get back together again, and then they broke up again, and then got back together, and then they did that like 3 or 4 more times. And believe it or not, Ed was doing most of the breaking up. It's a very complicated situation for a number of reasons, one of which is that she has a kid already, and the other is that she's about the same age as Ed's daughter, so that's cool. At one point, he tells her that he thinks she's here for a reason since she was born the week that his divorce was finalized. You know, the divorce with his own daughter's biological mother. So I'm sure most of you know this, but at the end of each 90-day season, no matter what the spinoff is, they do this thing called a tell-all, where they all sit in a room together, all the people that were on that season, and they just argue and yell at each other, and it's really entertaining.
You know, I treated Liz very well. I did the best I could, but she was taught to fight, you know, not to love and be affectionate.
Yeah, it was her fault. That's why it didn't work out. She doesn't know how to love and show affection to me properly, so I dumped her ass. Also, she didn't want to move in like a couple of months.
I don't want Liz here today. Nice to meet you. Fernanda, I have a little crush on her, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh my
as
God,
well.
you're beautiful.
Thank you.
And you're
Appreciate
tall.
that.
I would love for anything to happen with her.
Throughout this show, Ed has complained many times about how he can't find love and feels that he doesn't deserve love. But apparently he thinks he deserves and has a shot with pretty much anyone he wants. And I think that's true. He is Big Ed after all. I wouldn't be surprised if these two started dating.
You?
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, yeah.
So Colt, I call you Colty, is that okay?
Yes, I don't know.
I'm just kidding, no. So what is it like living with your mom?
Whatever. I don't
Whatever.
know. I don't
But
know.
you pull more fish out of the water than anybody I've ever met.
He's just an asshole.
Yeah.
Wow, Colt just met Ed and even he's done with him already. I honestly think Colt and Ed are pretty similar and you will probably see that as well.
Is Liz here?
Liz is not here.
Where is she? Are you guys still dating?
Ooh, you shouldn't have brought that up. Why would you bring that up? Why would you do that to this poor man?
Oh, don't cry.
Love's a bitch, man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, love's a bitch, man, especially when you exclusively go out with women that are like 30 years younger than you. However, keep in mind that in this case, Ed is the one who broke up with Liz. I'm pretty sure she wants to give it another shot. Look at the title of this. Will Ed give Liz another shot? Not the other way around. So to no one's surprise, Liz wanders in moments later and Ed is like, whoa, what is she doing here? And then they dissect their relationship in front of Colty, who gets very fired up for some reason. Way more fired up than at any point when he was on the show.
What's going on?
We broke up.
I never thought he would not be a part of my life. I thought he was gonna be the one.
This woman is crying over Big Ed. We're talking about a man who has a tattoo of himself on his own leg. Who does this? Who does that? I've never even heard of that. Celebrities don't even do that.
She told me I don't want to move too fast and I want to keep my friends, and I just skipped right over that. I was so excited for the first time in 29 years that I had somebody that was interested in me.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
Don't buy it. This is just Ed feeling bad for himself, trying to gain sympathy points from the rest of the people there. And most of the points that Ed cries during this, it's not because he regrets doing something or he feels bad for the way that he treated her. He just feels bad for himself, mainly. At the same time as saying all this, he'll hit on this girl and then ask her for her roommate's phone number, which happened, and Ed admits happened.
And the minute she said, I see you as boyfriend material, I stopped listening. I didn't listen to one word she said, and I was like, I'm gonna make her my girlfriend. I'm gonna make her world amazing.
So what is Ed talking about now? He didn't listen to a single word she said the entire time. As soon as she said your boyfriend material, he just tuned everything out. If you didn't listen to a word she said and you guys didn't converse well about things, then how did you even know you liked her? And the answer is because she was young, and that's all it takes for Big Ed.
I'm gonna do everything I can to give her what I thought she deserved.
So then why wouldn't you just leave before any of this started if you're trying to give her what she deserves? Obviously, none of this should have happened. Because the more this continues, it sounds like he just broke up with her whenever she wouldn't want to move at the same pace as him and sort of used that as a threat always, so she felt obligated to move at the same pace.
At one point, I felt like if I didn't go at his pace, I was gonna lose him. He would tell me all the time that it wouldn't work out between us.
Ed, did you tell her that?
Yeah.
Alright, so what's all this nonsense about you trying to give her what she deserves? It sounds like if she didn't do things exactly your way, you threatened to break up every time, which is extremely selfish. And in the end, even though she did do things your way, you still broke up with her and ran off to Las Vegas.
I don't want to get hurt.
I got hurt.
Hey, this is about me, okay? We're talking about me right now. Shush.
You blocked me and went to Vegas and ranted about your sugar babies. I didn't expect to be dumped and then him be out in Vegas living the life.
I like the dramatic music they add when this picture is pulled up, and also just how awkward this picture looks. To me, this looks more like he was just hanging out somewhere and two people recognized him and ran over and took a picture with him before he could figure out what the hell was going on. But this is Ed we're talking about, so it probably means that he tried to hit on them afterward once he did figure out what was happening.
Couldn't even wait 3 days, Ed?
Settle down there, Colt. You couldn't wait 15 minutes.
It's sad, but I want to be honest with you because I like you. He came up to me behind the scenes and he told me to say hi to my roommate and that she's really pretty.
Oh, shit.
I really do think that Ed becoming famous from this show has infected his brain. He seems to have an inflated sense of self-importance and also wants to portray himself a very certain way to the audience when in fact he's not that way at all.
Sneaky things like that to myself don't make sense in what he's telling you right now. And my roomie, by the way, she's 26.
I'm not saying that was okay, but he's single right now.
Wow, I think even Ed was surprised by that response. So that doesn't bother you at all? You guys are talking about maybe getting back together, and then you find out Ed has already hit on multiple women that are younger than you just today alone, and then he comes out here and cries all dramatically about how he didn't want to get hurt and feels that no one loved him for 26 years or whatever the hell.
But if he just did something a couple of hours
Literally,
ago,
like
that's
2
not
hours
really
ago.
trying to change.
Yeah, who here wants to do an over and under that you guys won't last 6 months? Put $100.
Why would you put it
Because-
on them? We're
How
talking
about we
about
bet
your
$1
No,
million
I'll tell
a
you,
month,
he's been
idiot.
such a
You don't know
rude,
anything.
he's been such a rude, belligerent person to me all day.
Jeez, I don't know who to side with, Ed or Colty. I think in this case, Colty has more valid points. They weren't even talking about him, and Ed just deflects it over there because he realizes he looks stupid. Also, in the beginning, Ed definitely seemed like he was being passive-aggressive and rude towards Colt. Wow, it's a really bad day for Ed when I have to choose Colt.
And
Wow.
it's
Who insulted me? Who body shamed me?
it's
Who
the-
constantly passive aggressive? Who constantly gaslights? Yes, I will say Ed is a gaslighter.
hey, you're crazy.
crazy. Look
Something
at
is
you.
wrong with you psychologically.
Look at you. You think I'm crazy?
Hey, listen.
You think I'm crazy? Time to make the craziest face ever and freak everyone out.
Listen.
Don't project on other
crazy.
people. Just take your shit and
Yeah.
walk out in peace.
She makes a lot of valid points here, honestly, but I think the amount that she's talking is going to confuse Ed and make him think that she's into him.
That's part of growth. Being able to say, you know what? Yes, I'm this. Accept it. And
Well,
that's like,
I'm doing that.
Yeah,
I don't
doing
think you
anything.
are. I don't
I've
think
never,
you are.
this is the first time in my life, Fernanda, that I've ever been in therapy.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
And it's
here we go
because-
again with the therapist.
I'm obviously skipping around, but this is like the 5th time that Ed brings up the fact that he's in therapy whenever he's cornered, as if that's like a get out of jail free card. Oh, I'm in therapy, so clearly I can just be an asshole to anyone. At this point, everyone can tell that Ed just keeps reverting back to that as a defense mechanism, so they're all laughing at him.
Love you, Liz. I want.
How can you say
God, man.
I'm dead.
Do we
literally.
have a-
How
do
can
we have
you
a
say
muzzle?
you love her?
Do
and
we
then
have a
just
muzzle?
10 minutes before, be like, hey, you got your friend's hot. Can I get her number?
Why does he get so fired up for this? He has such a loud personality in these clips compared to when he was on the show in the past. It's also really ironic and hilarious hearing all these very valid points coming from Colty. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a secret weapon is unleashed.
Welcome, Debbie. Woo! Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Thank you. Debbie.
So Debbie actually comes on during the Colt section, but then Big Ed tries to make a point and then all hell breaks loose.
Debbie, do you think Vanessa is the one for Colt?
For now.
What was that sound? Who made that sound? I did not add that in there. I swear. What the hell is that? Well, she's the one for now, but someone better might come along, and then I'll tell Colt what to do when that happens.
Right now, I think they're perfect for each other.
Big Ed?
My only fear is that
Wait, why did she just call on Ed? I don't think she called on anyone when it was Ed's whole section. Well, I'm sure Colt will appreciate hearing whatever fear that Ed has about their relationship. That sounds like something he'd be interested in. You know, after hearing all that we just heard, I would definitely take dating advice from Big Ed.
Vanessa, you might be marrying Debbie and not Colt.
I think she's probably come to terms with that by this point. Everyone knows Colt and Debbie are a package deal. Come on, what else you got, Ed?
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's time for Colt to get off the nipple, and you need to stop fighting.
Oh, fuck you.
Oh my God.
Fuck you.
I think Big Ed and Debbie would make a really nice couple.
Why don't you go find somebody your own age instead of this precious little girl here? You want people to
she's
think you
amazing.
can get a
When are you
beautiful
gonna-
young girl
when are you
to
gonna
make
let
you happy?
Colt-
Debbie could not be more correct here. She hit the nail right on the head. But Big Ed as well is correct about what they're pretty much all of them are right about each other. They're just wrong about themselves.
Oh, I want a 20-year-old. So people say, oh, this guy can get a 20-year-old. You don't care about how you feel about somebody. Why don't you find love instead of somebody that's a kid?
Debbie, don't you understand? She was born the week that his divorce was finalized. That's the most romantic thing I've ever heard. Her entire life's purpose was just to grow up and meet Big Ed, according to him. Ed is so important that God himself made one specific person whose entire life's purpose it was to grow up and fall in love with Ed.
Vanessa, do I, baby Colt?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do I?
Here and there.
Why would Debbie ask that, expecting that to just be something she easily says no to? Even Colt knows that's BS. Debbie, you are asking the wrong person. Anyway, I think I'm gonna end this here. There's really no conclusion to make out of all this, especially on the tell-alls. Everyone just comes in and yells at each other, and then they all leave and do the same shit they were already doing. I'm sure Big Ed will be with another 20-year-old in no time. In fact, I guarantee it. And then we'll go through this whole cycle again, and I'll make another video whenever that happens, whenever he's back on the show again, which is inevitable as well. So yeah, I'll see you all later. Thanks for watching.
Like right there.
Cool. Awesome.
You can't do that.
Why not? I kissed your nose. I kissed your nose. I didn't know you were going into that. I didn't either.